And welcome to the Sean McManus Studio 43 here, the NFL Today set. Some excellent games in that early window, none more exciting than Minnesota moving to 4-0 with an impressive win over Green Bay.
Yeah, it was a tough NFC North matchup, and they started off this game on fire. Sam Darnold showed that he could be an MVP getter as soon as this season gets into the thick of it. You know, I feel like Sam Darnold has proven to be an individual that can not only look for Justin Jefferson, but with the addition of Addison coming back from injury and the amount of guys that he's throwing to, this offense is dangerous. He threw to 9 different individuals. Why is that important? Because if you're a defense, you can't focus on one guy when you're game planning for this squad. Another reason why that's important, because of the balance. When you go into a game knowing that you can go through your progression slowly and each individual will show up and make a play for you, it just gives you the confidence week in and week out. And you know what? I like the fact that this was an ugly win in the second half. This team can do it all. They can win big, but also win these close ones when it gets a little ugly.
You didn't even mention Justin Jefferson.
I know, right? How about that?
In that whole thing.
That?
But it goes to the point of what you're talking about is like, you have these other guys that are in the mix and are making plays for them. And a defense then tends to fall asleep maybe on a Justin Jefferson. Yeah. And you get a one-on-one like they did, and Sam takes advantage of that opportunity into the end zone. They come away with the touchdown. The other thing I look at, too, is they ran the football well again, right? 120 yards on the ground. So to me, this is a team that is very balanced. We can run the football when we want to. We can use that play action, get guys open, like the clip you showed of Naylor crossing over the middle. And then when we need to throw it, we can do that.
You know, the big concern I had with Jordan Love coming back, we talked about in the pregame show, was he's been out for 2 weeks. You're coming against a defense that's going to give you a lot of different looks. And it was a tale of two halves. When you look at this thing, it was 28-7 in the first half. In the second half, the Green Bay Packers outscored Minnesota 22-3, and Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns in the second half. So as he got acclimated to this thing, the defense didn't keep him in the game. I would like to have seen maybe a Malik Willis package. They didn't even go there because the guy had been playing so well. And maybe slowing down that Sam Darnold Minnesota offense and controlling the ball and keeping them off the field might have been another element. Again, you know, these are 2 great coaches. They're going to meet again. And I think this score does indicate it was a close game, but you said it was like, then all of a sudden it was holding on for them at the end.
Yeah. And Matt, you mentioned it, in the trenches, the Minnesota Vikings, they have been running the ball well. And I have to give a shout out to Aaron Jones. Within this rivalry, this was a little bit of a homecoming. But this dude all season long, though, 80 touches. We know he can run in between the tackles. He's good in the screen game. You can put him on flare routes. But it's also the variety in which he plays with, which means he can run the ball and catch the ball. So almost 500 yards total this season, which is one of those guys that you can count on week in and week out to get those tough yards for the squad.
And you go back, and I'm not just, I sit there and you think I'm always talking about the running game, and I know I am because it's a part of what you do on offense. Sam Darnold, 28 attempts.
Yeah.
Okay, I know he took some hits, but he played very, very efficiently. What Jordan Love, 54. Yeah. So I mean, so you sit there and you subject yourself to a lot of hits. You subject yourself to turnovers, which they won that turnover battle again, because a lot of bad things can happen. Yes, good things can. Yeah. A lot of bad things can happen as well.
Well, I was just going to hit on the turnover comment that you made. Brian Flores' defense has been very good in the first four games of the season. They let up more points today than they have been. But I always, as a quarterback, was okay if you're going to have a game or two where you let up some big points. Give me the ball back.
Yeah.
Give me the ball back and give me a chance as an offense to kind of capitalize on some of those short field opportunities. I thought they did that pretty well today.
They finished the game, and that's a big thing. They know how to finish games.
In terms of headlines, I was thinking of using the word reclamation project as far as Sam Darnold is concerned. I think more accurately it's Phoenix rising from the ashes, because when he left here in New York, it was an absolute mess. Yeah. He didn't lose confidence in himself. I'm more impressed. You called, as Matt referenced earlier, Kevin O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer, but he saw in this kid what he did have, and look at how it's being maximized right now. So, again, you talked about he's in the MVP conversation early.
And one last thing before we move on, the Vikings, the first team in NFL history to win 3 straight games without trailing to teams that were in the playoffs the previous season. Yeah. So we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, Houston Texans, and now the Green Bay Packers. I say that because I respect when coaches come in and they say something that has nothing to do with what happens inside the lines. But if a coach tells me that nugget after winning against 3 solid teams, we're going to have more confidence. You know why? Because we have handedly beat 3 teams that were in the playoffs the previous season, which means to me, in my eyes, we're a playoff team. All we have to do is go out there and finish strong and make sure we get into December with the right attitude and the right level of confidence.
Quality of wins.
That's it.
And nothing is higher than what the Minnesota Vikings have
That's
done
it.
these first 4 weeks.